all.
Yeah. I think I make a decent crab.
I think you do.
Anyway.
Yeah. So like I said, we're going to dub this fairly aggressively. We're going to wrap that and continue to build up that little ball there. And then we can brush that out in a second. Do you have like a dubbing brush of some sort?
No, I only have a...
Bodkin, no, we're fine. So we're going to just pick that out. Just like that, get it to all lay back and sweep into the crab claw. Then we're gonna switch in, use some hackle here. Do some slopping in, how about we'll try tan for this one?
Okay.
So we'll do this. Should be about right. Preen these back. Split that. And by the tip. Remove that. And we're gonna jump this up out of the way. I'm gonna wrap this like so. You want to use schlappen or hen saddle here, so it's webby, like this. I'm gonna build this up. It's about like this. Cool, that should be about good. Bring this back down, secure that. I'm gonna trim that out. And same deal with any strays. Clean it up, preen them back. I like to wrap over onto the actual fibers to, again, really force it back and clean it. We can get there. All right. And from here, we're gonna cut the bottom flush. Just get rid of all that fluff. I just want this to be across the top. Should be about good. Same thing, we can pick that, preen that. Awesome. Looking good. Next, we're gonna jump into the body. So for that, I typically like to orient it towards me. And we're gonna get some cream, some tan, some white. So I'll take a couple sections of this, cut it about that wide. And just roughly size them up. They don't have to be perfect, obviously we're gonna cut it all. Make sure you got good there. Take a little cream, do the same. Do about the same there. Get some white. Do about the same. Same and the same. Awesome. So now, probably take tan and the cream just to get it started. I'm going to take this all the way to the rear. I'm going to go two of these guys. We're going to do this on this side. Well, you could do it either one. Yeah, he does it this way, right? That's what I thought. So we're actually going to do this. And just a single figure eight. Let me tighten this so it's not going to go on me. Orient this down slightly. Go like that. So I usually just do one or two loose wraps that direction, and then I'm going to come across this direction and do the same thing, just figure eighting it into place, but it's still pretty loose, so that I can actually pull it back.
Good technique.
Force it into position here. And once I get it there, then I'm going to cinch down, get a couple wraps there, and really pull that into place. I'll set that down. Now we're going to jump to, we'll go cream and a white this time. We'll do the same thing. One loose wrap that direction, one loose wrap that direction, put it where I want it, and hold it and cinch down. Pull it into place. Now they should be pretty secure in here. Toss another one of these guys this direction, another one this direction, and back and lock that. I'll pick up some more. We'll go dark tan and white. Figure eight in. Oh, if I can get this out of the way. Put it in like that, and then we're gonna pull this over this direction. One, two. Again, work it, pull it back into place. Only force it where I want it, and then cinch down tightly. Same thing, one more securing wrap through there, and another securing wrap through here. I'm gonna get one more tie-in right here, the last two. And then go one wrap right behind the eye, and then split that through here, another figure eight, pull it, manipulate them into one little tight tie-in, cinch down tightly, a bunch of wraps of thread, in pretty good shape. Now at about this point, we're pretty much done with the tying portion of the fly. I will whip finish. I guess I'll jump the eye since you got room. And then secure things, a little bit of super glue on the thread itself. A few more nice tight wraps there, and then whip finish into the super glue. Trim that out. And now from here, so I'm going to try to preen all these fibers away. And at this point, we're just going to pick this all out. Like I said, a dog comb or like a heavy duty metal brush works well for this. Just to kind of flare it all. Excess and just keep pulling, and I'll do the same on the opposite side. Keep them centered. Try to split it. I'm gonna pull a little strand there. Splitting, or roughly getting there. Cool. That's about good. And then typically speaking, I'm gonna try to moisten these fibers and keep them back out of the way, so I'm not going to cut all that hackle off. I'll pull this and then just one rough cut to start it. The same thing on this side. Moisten those and get them out of the way. Another rough cut. Get it close to shape. And then you can, again, really brush this all out and work it all out. And you can start to kind of round it off. And this is where you can kind of just take some time after the flies are tied and really touch it up, get it to where you want it to be. But this is essentially roughly where we want to start at. Hi there. Kind of soften all the edges. Obviously crabs are not oriented with hard angles. Like that. Now, let's keep this like this. Fluff this all out. Hi, Pupper. Very curious as to what's happening here, aren't you? And there we're getting a pretty decent crab shape. And again, like I said, you can really play with that a little bit more after the fact. So we get this back in the vise. Now here's where things are a little bit tricky. Silicone. I'll take a open pack of silly legs. I usually just pull off a full one, pull off a full one. What we're going to do is, get this tight again. One of these, I'm gonna work it through the middle here, like this, trying to get it just down to the bare shank. You try not to capture any of these sparkly yarn fibers. And it's never gonna be perfect. It's kind of an imperfect system, but we're gonna tie a single overhand knot, if I can do that. Take this and pick that out, perfect. And then just cinch that into position. First set of legs, come back to our silicone, pop one, and do the same thing a little bit further back. And this is where the resin and the glue helps a bunch. Obviously, that's what's actually really gonna secure it. Come up to about the middle portion. Again, tie another overhand knot. And use that to pick that out of the way. A little bit more, there it goes. And we're gonna cinch that into position there. Second set of legs. And then one more. We're gonna come here. And go towards the rear portion. Oh. Split it in here, like so. Another overhand knot. And cinch that down into position. Now at this point you have obviously 3 sets of legs. When you look at it from the top, they're just protruding from the sides of the fly. You're gonna trim these to length, obviously, whatever length you determine you like. And typically speaking with the resin, what I'll do is come across the back here, I'm gonna coat this entire bottom in resin. That's gonna reinforce all those tie-ins. And so like here you have some bug bond, I can do that right now. Come here, situate that just the way I want them. And I'll take a bit of bug bond. Just run a small bead of this down along the bottom, right up into the eyes. I see this will really add a ton of durability to the fly, and it'll also help it sink the way it's intended. You want more weight on the bottom, obviously. Whoa. Startled me there. to our light. Adjust these out so they're splayed. And then cure that. Should be about good. Nice and secure there. Now, like I said, you can pull on the legs, they're not going to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then, typically speaking, what I'll do is, before I do the final step to secure the legs, I'll pull them down and out like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can do your final trimming of the fly, get it to really line up the way you'd like.
Mm-hmm.
You see, like, we trapped a few little fibers in here from knotting them, so you can just pull those out. Get them all oriented correctly again.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I'll pull these down flush like this,
Right.
so that I can now trim without worrying about cutting the legs.
Right.
And then once I get that shape the exact way I want it, like I said, I'm not going to waste a bunch of our time now.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll pull each individual leg into the middle of the crab,
Right.
squeeze it down to get
Yeah.
it flat,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll literally drop UV resin right at the point where it's exiting the fibers.
Yeah.
Cure it, and then that's going to hold it splayed at ideally, one at 45 here,
Yeah.
one at 45 here, and one at essentially 90 directly off in the middle.
Got it.
And that's about it.
Excellent.
I said just all you gotta do is finish them down, but that's pretty much what we're looking at there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the original. This is your guy here.
Mm-hmm.
Just again, round them out, shape it up, and you're in pretty good shape.
Very helpful.
Yeah,
Lenny,
no
thank you very much.
No problem.
Say hi, Henry.
Hi, Henry.